I also think something has to be also said about this idea of when you when you speak of this opulence of sorts, like there are sort of these power structures embedded within these kind of experiments, right? And uh, you being a journalist see this very clearly. It comes to the fore more clearly.
Yeah, it's like that fresh eyes thing you said. Like,
Yeah,
things that we've been reading and sort of been focused on. We don't see certain things the way you would.
yeah. I mean, we were reading and looking at someone speak about how architecture aestheticizes power or embeds power structures within. Uh, it becomes more apparent. You see power because of that, and some of the things that you talk about today also are, some of them are like balls to the walls hilarious when all the pharmacies and all the bakeries get grouped in certain places together, but some of the things are very interesting, it, when you say you look at these government buildings but they are still in decay. How do you start to reconcile or
Yeah, it's like this strange feel-good story that is still told, but the realities of it are an absolute tragedy.
yeah
Because this is like the 20th century feel-good, aspirational. The war is over. We're all just gonna go in one direction, and we're gonna be all a big happy family. And then the Cold War, but then the end of history. But and then we're left with. Do you know the phrase what white elephants mean? Afraid.
I know the game that we play at Christmas in my family where we all bring old gifts and then exchange them, and that's called a white elephant. So I'm imagining it's not that.
That I don't know. In
completely
India, we say
different.
white elephant basically means something that's too expensive to maintain.
Yeah.
Okay. No, that sounds like it's
That
a
someone's
thing.
going to steal your white elephant.
But the other thing I was going to say about Brasilia is that, and about journalists in general, is I feel like how we get to enjoy a lot of architecture that I guess a lot of people don't get to. Like, I can get a press pass and I can go into the presidential palace. I can go into the Congress. I can, I could go into the Supreme Court or, whatever.
Yeah.
And in Beijing, same thing. Like, I've, run through the Great Hall of the People to like get the news first. And I'm like, not a lot of people get to do this. And, it's this opulence.
Yeah, I'd be shot if I was running there.
What's that?
I'd be shot if I was caught running there.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we were running to get, the annual government report and that they stack up on tables on the second floor and you're all running upstairs, like trying to grab it.
Does anyone get a video of that happening? That'd be great meme material.
I feel like, if somebody hasn't done that, good God, like, yeah, what low-hanging fruit for a good story. The meta story is actually a pretty good story. But yeah, it's interesting, these kind of public projects, they're meant to be public spaces, but actually access is kind of, restricted to these public spaces. So I suppose you can go and look at the outside and feel like, oh, like this represents my country. And I'm proud we were able to build this. But at the same time, like, you can't go into these public buildings unless you have permission. So
in Germany, I think you can get an appointment and go to the Reichstag.
You can go there but even there, in most public buildings also, even in India, if you go there, they sort of have
closed
areas, and then there are these public access areas. So those boundaries are very strongly established, at least now. I mean, maybe some years ago it wasn't the case, But
it's great, like the whole idea of the fourth pillar of democracy. Whether you are in a democracy or not, somehow the fourth pillar works even in China.
I was just going to say you can take a tour of most of the government buildings here in Brazil. Probably not so much in China.
But the fourth pillar also sort of has access to architecture that is at the sort of height of power, that is so charged with power and can sort of either experience it and convey the experience outside, and journalism brings that back to the outside, or even report directly. Like this is very common. The images of, let's say, a Chinese premier are rarely on a desk like the number of images you'll see on the internet of the Oval Office itself, the inside of it.
Yeah.
Right. That's true.
And that's an architectural comment as far as I'm concerned, because for me, it's showing the Chinese premier in the Great Hall or at a big rally or something on those lines, or on a big table with him leading a meeting with a lot of people there discussing or taking instructions. These are sort of regimes, visual regimes that, as a journalist, you seem to encounter at very, very close quarters, and have the sort of privilege of going back and reporting. And architecture sort of sits right in the middle of it all.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, politics is to some degree theater, and the theater needs a set. So